main issues now is trying to get people who don't know anything about ethical to understand what it actually means, and just to raise awareness, because it's not just a hippie thing, or it's actually how I think most of the industry will at one point have to go, because we're just ruining the earth and our planet. What ways do you think that we could actually make people interested? Because I've been trying to ask people and find out what are the best ways, and it seems like everybody just goes around the question,
It's a really good question. I think there are different ways. For me personally, the most important way would be to make a sustainable brand hip and trendy, really hip and trendy. Like, I also always like the example of Hollister and Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yeah.
Because often I featured a lot of studies in my thesis about which customers to target with sustainable fashion, what they would pay for sustainable fashion, what they are seeking for in the product, and so on. And there was often the question asked in those studies that have been done before: how much more would you pay for a sustainable piece than you would pay for a normal, let's say, a T-shirt, basic white T-shirt? And usually the answer was like around 20%, more than 20%. Hardly nobody wanted to pay. The reality is it's more. But in my view, that's the wrong question to ask. How much more would you pay for a sustainable garment than for a normal garment? I think it's totally the wrong question, because nobody asks a customer of Abercrombie and Fitch why he paid or she paid 50% more for a normal white T-shirt, or more than, 100% more than from an H&M T-shirt. Nobody asks why, because Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister and all these brands are really exciting, trendy brands, and it's obvious why people pay more for that. It's because they think it's a cool brand, and they think maybe that the quality is better. If the quality is that much better, it's not even that important, but it features a little sign, and they feel like attached to this brand. They feel like they're part of this brand. They have an amazing positioning, amazing marketing they created, and hype. So if somebody could do that for a sustainable fashion brand, to create a little bit like this kind of hype, that it's really something special, cool, nobody would even care about paying more. They would just, because it's hip, they would just pay more. I think you cannot target enough people with saying it's sustainable and that's why you should pay more. You need to target them and say it's cool, that's why you should buy it. That's why you should buy it.
I think that's a really, really good point, because sometimes for something to even be sustainable, there's almost a stigma to it, and people don't actually want to buy it, especially in the luxury market. If it is sustainable, people are a bit more reluctant to actually want to buy it. So I think that's...
And I think it's really, really good what H&M is doing with their conscious collection, and that kind of big clothing chains are beginning to do something in this direction, because those are really the chains that target everybody. And so even if sometimes it's not true what they're saying, or sometimes some people say it's greenwashing, I think they do quite a lot in this direction, and they're not perfect, but it's good that they start, because there are a lot of clothing chains who don't do anything. And so to raise awareness, I think it's really, really important to have big clothing chains at least do collections. If they don't do everything, I think it's not possible to do everything in a short time. But if they start to do collections, that's a really good thing. And the third, so I would say that's the second part, getting big companies to do it. And the third part for me is politics in general, that they that they kind of, because there are already quite some initiatives like from the UNIDO and other initiatives who give you like regulations, United Nations, industrial or other, like there's some regulations already. And I think if there are even more regulations, that would also help, because if you're forced to do something, and if the whole industry is forced to, I think, to have even minimum standards of like safety and so on, and health and all these issues in their factories, that would help a lot if everybody's kind of forced to do it. But it's very difficult to I don't know how to say that, to put into reality, because in those countries they have their own legislations, and it's but still I think that politics can help too. I think it's the third dimension, which is really important.
Okay, I think those are really good, because at least I feel like there's something that we can think about doing. So either a brand becoming hip and cool, big brands changing, and also politics. Do you think celebrities can help in any way, or?
A lot, yes, definitely, because they can make sustainability something cool, and that's I think sustainability still is connected in the minds of people very often to problems, you know, because it's it's not you should connect it with something positive, not problems. I think educating people about all the problems in those countries where the clothes are produced is not the way. I think you should give them a positive experience, telling them, you know, you can buy something that has done something good for somebody, you know, and not focusing on the negative part.
I think that's a really good point. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you too.
I'm just going to